Welcome to Robo Success, the podcast that loves robots, marketing, and success. Here we spotlight the innovators building the future of robotics. Hit subscribe, share with a friend, and let's get started.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Robo Success Podcast. Today, I have here a good friend, an amazing person that is around the robotics and AI. Thomas, welcome to our podcast. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Jesica.
Hi, Thomas. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself? I would like that you introduce to our audience and tell us a little bit about you, what you are doing, what is your work around robotics.
Yeah, so my name is Thomas Höglund. I'm a Swedish-speaking Finn from Vasa in Finland. And I've always been interested in robotics. I started building my first electronics, small robots when I was 13 years old. And since 5 years back, I've been working full-time with Done Robotics, my startup. And we're making service robots for hospitals, currently pitching for a late seed round.
Awesome. Can you tell me a little bit more about your startup and tell us, what are you trying to solve there?
So we have the big, hairy, audacious goal of becoming the world's premier robot service provider, which means that we will be selling robots as a service around the world, and making a very integrated package of services, taking care of everything from training and installation to monitoring robots and repairing them, ensuring a premium customer experience and very intuitive fleet of robots.
Wow, that's amazing. I have been working in the RAS space for a while, always very interesting to see, how this market grows because there are too many companies that are not ready to commit to buy the robot. They don't probably even understand how to implement it or how to make a successful case. So I always have seen RAS as that opportunity that is the bridge between not necessarily committing to buy a robot, but at the same time that you are helping a customer to reach that goal, to understand what they really need. Sometimes companies try to invest a lot of money in robots, but then at the end they don't realize the ROI, immediately. And they get frustrated and they say, oh, my people doesn't want to use it, or I remember working with one company that we were selling robots for hospitals. And at the beginning, since they didn't have a person helping them to implement, we were finding out that many times those robots were in the warehouse, just, collecting dust. So It's amazing what you're doing because I think that's the best way to help the companies that are manufacturing the robots, helping really to deploy and get the service to the final customer.
Exactly. We try to be super customer centric. So we really want to make sure that the robots are designed to solve a problem and that they also solve the problem and that the user is using the robot. So by monitoring our fleets of robots, we can really ensure that they are used in the right way and predict the outcome and ensure customer success. And we try to make everything super intuitive and really easy to use by including voice interfaces for premium human-robot interaction.
Awesome. And talking about that, I imagine social robots play a big role in the hospitals, right? Especially, I think we have seen a lot of videos, and probably people still think that they are something futuristic and they are not here yet. But how close do you think we are of having them around, patients or being on hospitals as a social robots?
Yeah, social robots are up and coming. I have seen there are a couple of models coming from China. They're currently mostly deployed there. So it will take maybe 2-3 years before we see them more in Europe and the US. But they are up and coming. And then, of course, we also have the humanoid robots, which are making a big splash right now. And it will take some time before those have been certified and before everyone has thought about safety in the right way. So yeah, maybe 2-3 years, but it's going to be a gradual think that's already started in some parts of the world.
Yeah. Have you seen between your customers asking you for those kind of robots for taking care of their patients?
Yeah, definitely. For example, most nurses and doctors end up spending a lot of their day just guiding patients between departments and between different places in hospitals. So that's one example of things that a social robot could solve. It could just tell the patient, "Please follow me," and it could the patient can discuss with robots and you can learn where to go and what to do where in the hospital. So that's something that has been tested in some hospitals, but not very much. And it's also something we will be working on in our next future robot for human robot interaction use cases like guidance, receptionist tasks, gathering information, and so on.
Awesome. And talking about that, how important do you think is the trust between human and robot interaction? Maybe when you have been implemented, I remember right from my experience having sometimes this kind of, especially people who is a little older, having this afraid of interacting with a robot. What is your experience there and how important do you think is building this trust?
Yeah, it depends very much on the type of person. If it's a person who is very used to using LLMs and AI in general, that person is likely already having a clear picture about what kind of a system they trust and to what extent and how to interface with machines. So then they will just think that the robot is the natural extension of the AI. It's just an embodiment of the same AI that they're already used to using and trusting in a specific way. But then for older people who are not used to using AI, it will be like an even bigger surprise than using an LLM. Now it's also embodied. So there, the trust will depend on whether or not you like technology and robots, and whether and depending on how much you will understand the whole AI scene. But I think the designers of the robots just have to make sure to copy the human to human interaction as closely as possible, so that they will soon realize that it flows basically like with a person, and they can trust the robot to be there and to be listening and to have time for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm assuming that comes from being customer centric, right? Like when you are trying to really deliver that customer success, you make sure that each stakeholder gets involved and then gets, develop that relationship with the robot in some way or another.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about solving a real problem, and for the end user, I think they will prefer to use the robots if they really increase the service availability and the service efficiency. If you have to choose between standing in line to meet a person or standing in a much shorter line to meet a robot that can do the exact same thing, I'm pretty sure people will choose the shorter queue.
Yeah. So I remember in my experience implementing robots that I have found people, right, that doesn't like technology, that they feel technology means more work, that they need to do more things or learn new things, and they are like against it. So what I have done is like little steps and trying to say, hey, do you see how many time did you save now that you use this tool instead of what were you doing manually, and trying to help them to agree that is saving them time or is helping them to do their jobs better. For instance, in hospital disinfections, manual disinfections takes 4 hours 5 hours to clean a surgical room, plus a lot of chemicals, right? So when you present something that instead of them using, scrubbing by hand or spraying chemicals, they have a robot that helps them, then is when they realize, oh, okay, I'm saving time and probably it's even safer. But you need to get until you realize what is driving them to understand that technology will help them.
Exactly. There needs to be that precedent, that reference from some other hospital for them to trust that the system actually works. And once you can see that other people are trusting the system and using it efficiently, and you can see some statistics on time saved, then it's easier to be convinced that this automation really makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And besides, of course, hospitals, but what other industries do you think will benefit first more from this fusion between AI, robotics, like you were saying, embodied AI, right? Physical AI. What industries do you think are going to benefit more?
I think basically any industry where you have a lot of people, a large flow of people doing especially repetitive things. So, for example, we have retail, supermarkets, airports, cruise ships, hospitality, and of course, hospitals, elder care, and so on. So, wherever we have a lot of people doing the same thing over and over, that is something that's typically ripe for automation and physical AI.
Yeah, and I think also, as we see new generations, I have a daughter, she's turning 10, and I see like they want to do different things that I wanted to do when I was a kid, right? So you see how also new generations are involving in the roles they want to take when they work. And I think is when we saw also the labor shortage of, like you're saying, things that are repetitive, right? That are not challenging. We are not having any more people applying for those jobs. And there are some industries that they really need to have those repetitive tasks. And then it's better that you have instead a robot or something that I could automate that task and use that person for another more high quality job or more high impact job. So definitely I see that as well.
Definitely, especially in hospitals, there's a huge lack of nurses in many places, especially Finland. And sometimes when they try to find nurses, they cannot get enough applicants, if any. And so these existing nurses have to do things that they shouldn't have to do. And our robots at Done Robotics are trying to free up more time for the nurses to be with the patients.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Hospitals, I think especially since COVID, a lot of people the staff that is working on hospitals got overwhelmed and they say, I don't want to pursue this career anymore. It was too much stress put on them. And I think not only Finland, right? I can see this across the globe where a lot of hospitals are lacking of having enough staff to support. And in general, if you are inside of a hospital, there are a lot of operations that is not just about the nurses, but there are a lot of operations that happen that need a lot of human intervention right now, but that can easily be automated and make it better.
Yeah, definitely. There's so much to do in hospitals. For example, people spend half of their time, I mean, half of the whole staff's time, or 30% of the budget in some hospitals is used only on moving things around, logistics. So there's a lot of things to move around so that people can really be with the patients instead.
Yeah, yeah. So now tell me, if you could design your perfect AI assistant robot for Thomas or what you have seen in the market, what would be, right? How that robot will be, what will be doing?
Yeah, good question. This is something I maybe dreamt about when I was little. I was planning on building a humanoid robot when I get big. But now I'm building non-humanoids, but planning to integrate also humanoids. And in my personal life, I think AI in general will be more useful than a physical robot. I mean, maybe a robot could pick up my children's toys, but it's better to teach the children to pick up their own toys, right? But I think a coordinator that can coordinate with other people, with transportation, with food ordering, with services, an AI that is also available at the office, in my home, and in my phone to do both. Some deliveries, monitoring the house, monitoring children. So, but a multi-purpose robot would come in handy. And we've seen, for example, 1X targeting homes and consumers with their humanoid robots, which I think is really interesting and a little counterintuitive also because I see that these human robot interaction use cases are mostly viable where there are a lot of people doing the same thing over and over. But maybe we have to go for both approaches.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I am a single mom. I'm always super busy. So I'm always wanted to free my time, right? What are the things that somebody else can take over and then I can do the things that I know is adding value. So AI now and also robotics are helping a lot of people and businesses to try to focus on what really adds value, right? You probably, as an entrepreneur, are calling customers, you need to do invoices, you probably need to do follow ups, you also need to attract new customers, you also probably need to do some marketing. So there are a lot of things on top of your probably personal life. So, what can a robot or AI can take over that can free you some time and that you can use it for something that probably adds more value for your business or your personal life?
Exactly. I mean, people are so busy these days, and I think that AI and physical AI is really going to help by also doing predictive actions. So they can predict the need for a service or the need to buy a product, and they can predict your next actions and your timetable and help you schedule things, order things, organize things. So that's a real time saver and something that will free up people's mind from their scheduling and organization tasks to doing the actual job and being with their family and their spare time.
Yeah, that's great. I'm really excited. For me, it went from I remember how old I was when it was the first computer, right? And then getting your computer at home finally, then getting your phone. Now I see my daughter, she's growing with a cell phone or computer, a tablet. We get, of course, some robots at home. So for her, it's very natural to see all this technology around her. But it's going to be interesting how the new generations are going to be born with even more technology that is helping them around. So very excited for this.
Yeah, things are changing fast. Like yesterday, I built a custom GPT for asking test questions from my boy who's 10 years old in preparation for his school test, and that took me 10 minutes to do. So and that could have been done also by an AI and a house robot just as well.
Yes, yeah, that's amazing. It's amazing how kids now interact with technology and have. I even see that the learning and education is changing very quickly because, of course, now you have AI to help you to do research or do your homework or things like that. So now how you can use your creativity, right, as a keep solving problems. But well, Thomas, we are getting to the end of this podcast. I know we can keep talking because we both love robotics and AI. I want to thank you for your time. And I don't know if anything else you would like to be adding about you, your business, how they can reach out to you, anything you would like to add.
Thank you so much, Jessica, for having me on this podcast. It's been a pleasure. And for anyone who's interested in hospital robotics, I recommend checking out my company at donerobotics.com. That's DONE robotics.com. We're a Finnish company looking to change the world together with other robotics companies and make the RaaS model a big thing, robotics as a service. So I'm excited about the future and all new news in AI. And feel free to link up with me, anybody on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Thomas. It was a pleasure to have you. And well, have a great day.
Thank you. Likewise. Bye bye.
Okay. Thank you. I stop here the recording.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Thomas. It was great. I really appreciate all your insights. It was amazing. How did you feel?
Yeah, good questions. Yeah, you're good at these interviews. It was interesting. And it's good to sit and reflect every now and then on like what's changing and the future and how things will be done with AI and embodied AI.
Yeah, I think these are the topics that everybody's trying to wonder, right? Now that you were saying the chat GTP with your child, the other day I was having a conversation with another person who is a mom and she does homeschooling. And she was saying, "Oh, I'm looking for an embodied iPad body where I can have
Mm.
all the, tools for my kids, and I tell them go and do math, and they follow their robot and do their math on their body of the, like, kind of more
Yeah,
interaction, right? Than instead of
yeah.
just being on the iPad. And I was like, oh,
Actually, my younger son asked me, or I asked him, what kind of robot do you want to build? We already decided to build one, and he said that yeah, it should be a homework robot. It's gonna solve my maths with me. So we're building that right now. It's gonna be a phone with ChatGPT on some wheels and stuff.
that's very cool. I don't know, have you seen Mini Richie from Poland Robotics? Because it's very cheap. It's like 300 or so.
Ah,
And
no.
it's open source. So it would be very cool. I can connect you even with one guy from there if you want to do something cool uh, for the robot.
Poland robotics. Let me Google that.
Mhm.
Okay, reach to. Oh, is it this like Cartesian design? No, it's not. I've never seen
They
this
have a
before.
mini reach. It's very cute. Looks like a toy. Uh, and I think they are giving it for $300, 350, something like that. Very low
Oh, very
cost.
cool.
Mhm.
So is it like for education or play, or what is the main customer?
I think it's a little more for research purposes because they even built a twin
Okay,
on
yeah,
the platform. Yeah. And they are in
nice.
partnership with Hugging Face, which is an open source for robotics. So that's the goal.
Okay, yeah, I see they're doing some manipulation experiments.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, looks like a cool one. Mhm. What are you focusing on these days?
So trying to get the Humanoid Summit running. We are
Yeah,
getting closer right now. Is helping with all the planning for the launching of the exhibitors and the speakers agenda and so on. That's kind of the main ones. And then of course I'm working with other customers in their marketing
yeah.
strategies as well. I have some companies in Sweden and one here in US also launching soon. So working for.
Okay, exciting. And is the summit? It's in the US now, I think, but is it going to be in Europe or somewhere else coming years?
We did one in London past May. Next year we are gonna do it in Tokyo, summer.
Okay,
Yes, I
next
think
next
for
summer.
next summer. Yes, every December we're gonna keep doing it here in Silicon Valley, and every summer we're gonna change country. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, not sure if we're coming back to Europe the following summer yet. We're not that far in the planning, but so far we know that we're going to Tokyo next year.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I've been to Tokyo 3 times. I would like to go there as well.
Yes, I haven't, so I'm super excited. So yeah.
Yeah, not that I wouldn't come to the US. That's also in my plans, but not for this year. Hmm.
Okay. Let me know when you're around and probably we can coincide.
Yeah, sure. Where are you located again?
I am in the UP, Michigan, very far from everything, but I travel a lot to Chicago, Detroit, of course, Silicon Valley, New York City. Depends of where it depends that I need to be. So I'm always like traveling. So yeah.
Right. Right. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. It was nice to have this podcast.
Yes, no, thank you. Have a nice day. Talk to you
Have a
soon.
nice day. Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.